Hey, it's America's Supermom. Thank you for joining me on my podcast. This series is the Corona Chronicles. I created this so that we would have an outlet of positivity in the midst of a lot of negativity. You know what I'm talking about. All the news, the fear around this virus, how it can affect us, what the new normal is looking like, and how so many things have changed that a lot of people feel like um, it is the end of the world, so to speak. So, this podcast was created so that those of us who have hope, who are willing to move forward with this new normal and innovate new things that will help us to be creative and positive. That is what this platform is for us to come together and share that positivity and that light with those who may need it. So if you're interested in sharing your insight, please reach out because we can never have enough positive news. So sit back and enjoy the show. I am really excited about my next guest, Anne Marie Knight. We actually met on Facebook and we connected through a Facebook group that we're in. And I had the pleasure of being a guest on her show. She has a non for profit, and I enjoy the fact that she is about educating and empowering others in order to move forward in life. So I'm really excited to have her here today to share her wisdom and insight on how we can navigate and pivot during this time dealing with this global pandemic. So at this time, I am going to give Anne Marie the opportunity to introduce herself before we get into the interview.
Much, Lachelle, for inviting me on today. It's just a thrill to be with you again. I love getting the chance to talk to you. So, a little bit about myself. My name is Anne Marie Knight. I am in Meriden, Connecticut, and thrilled to be with you. I have a nonprofit that you mentioned earlier called Hope and Healing Homes. And it really is about providing strength for families. That's what this thing is really all about. And we're moving into housing development and being able to provide affordable housing. And I have my regular for-profit business, which is called Shine Consulting and Training. And that is about really helping nonprofits to stand up fully in their power, in their strength, and be able to serve the community to the best way that they can. So those are the things that I do. I'm a mom, I'm a grandma, I'm a wife. I have at least 5 grandchildren. So just like you, I am always busy doing something. I love to bake. Yep. So, and I enjoy kind of any activity that is really about renovation and restoration. So, if I'm watching TV, I'm usually watching something that's about one of those restoration shows or house fix-up shows.
Yeah,
But I renovate furniture, I remake things like that, and I just love working with my hands.
that's all. Now, so I love the nonprofit,
Mhm.
the homes. And, right now with this pandemic, there are going to be a influx, I'm sure, of a number of families that will be dealing with some form of economic downturn. So, what are some ways that people within local communities can begin to help give back?
To give, did you say to give back? Yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
that, when we think about kind of coming out of this thing, there are lots
Mm-hmm.
of ways we can all think about giving back. And I think just in the day-to-day type of things, I think it's important to remember that we're part of community, right? So remembering
Mm-hmm.
that you have neighbors and there may be people that you don't see that often, but to be able to check in on them and make sure that they're well is important. But for
Mm-hmm.
nonprofits, there are nonprofits right now who are still open and having to provide critical services like homeless shelters and feeding folks who are hungry, food pantries, and those kinds of services that are essential services when families are in need. I mean, it's already tough enough if you've potentially lost your job, But if you've been depending on a food pantry and now you have even less way of getting food, those are the organizations that need your help now. So a way that we can give back is if you are going to the supermarket, please keep an eye out for when they have those collection things. You can buy something for yourself and place some items of food, for your local bank or for your local food pantry. You can donate online. I think at a time like this, we're thinking about hoarding. And I mean, you've seen the rush on people for toilet paper, right? Right? It's a mad
Absolutely.
crazy rush. We're hoarding, we're hoarding, we're hoarding. We're just focused on ourselves. And this is really a time for us to shift perspective to think about community and family. And that extends beyond ourselves. So instead of hoarding, let's shift that mindset and think about ways that we can creatively give to those who really need it right now.
What are some ways people in the local communities could give from their abundance? Many people have this mindset and they're not quite sure how to give. So, what type of items should they buy to help those in the community?
Would say those items that are shelf stable. So, right, think about a box of pasta. Those are generally on sale somewhere from, 67 cents to $1 for a box. So if you buy a box, you could put one box of shelf stable pasta into the
Mm-hmm.
collection bucket. But those are the things, canned spaghetti sauce so that you could make a meal. Those
Mm-hmm.
kinds of items. We're not thinking about things like milk, bread, eggs, things that will go off that aren't shelf stable. So canned goods or shelf stable products are things that are always needed by food pantry. And then keep in mind too that some food pantries also provide items that we don't often think about, like personal care items. So
Mm-hmm.
deodorants, toothpaste, soap, lotion, um, laundry soap. Those are
Mm-hmm.
things that families in need really, they need those items. And so if you have an opportunity to be able to provide those kinds of things, those are critical too.
Awesome. What are some ways that people can help with volunteering uh, in lieu of social distancing? So, with that going on, what are some ways that they can do to volunteer?
Face of volunteering is definitely changing at the moment. Things will change,
Mm-hmm.
in several months from now. I'm not sure how long, but things will change back a little bit. But while we're thinking about social distancing, I think it's important to be connected to your community. So, for example,
Mm-hmm.
the church that I attend has just started a Kitchen Angels program, and they're providing meals for families who are sick from coronavirus. Right? So
Mm.
that's something that we probably wouldn't have thought of as innovative in a time like this. So how can you volunteer? If they need your service and they need drivers or they need somebody just to pick up food items
Mm.
and drop it off at the kitchen and they're going to cook it, you don't have to come in contact with others. There are creative ways to help, but it does involve
Mm-hmm.
you checking to see what's happening in your local community and see where they're asking for help. I think that's the key aspect. Organizations need help and are asking for help. See what they need and then try to plug in some way. And then for, anybody who just is saying to themselves, like, I don't have anything to give, you can pray, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are families in need
Mm-hmm.
all over. Everybody can do at least that much.
With many people who are faced with reinventing themselves, what advice would you give them with starting a non for profit?
That in the middle of something like this, our minds kind of freeze, right? It is so
Mm-hmm.
stressful. There's so much happening. People are sick and dying around us. And it could be a moment for us to say, I need to go inward. There isn't much else I can
Mm-hmm.
do. This isn't time for me. But I would encourage everybody who's listening, open their minds to new possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And I have an example of this. I There was a building that I loved and have loved for years. It's been vacant, boarded up, and I always thought it would be just a brilliant space to redesign, renovate, to do housing. And I was introduced to somebody, a couple of people who really wanted to help financially in this season right now. This just happened in the last couple of weeks, right?
Oh,
Right? So a brand new opportunity opened in front of me. So as we went to see the building that I had in mind, I had not even noticed that behind the building there was almost another 3 acres of land. And to the left of the building, there was another building and another patch. There were four parcels of land that could be all together. One owner owned them all. And I think for me, it was a recognition that if we just lift up our head, change our perspective, and look around, there's even more out there than we possibly could think in this moment. So it's a time for innovation, right? This is a time for us to rise up in new ways. Maybe things that you were doing in person can be done online. Maybe it's a time for connecting more personally with people, one on one, like doing these calls or Zoom calls or just meeting people. It is a time for really shifting our perspective. And I believe just new strategies, new ways of doing things are just going to kind of drop into our spirits so that we come out of this with a whole new way of being.
okay. So we have a lot of negative news going on. How do you maintain a innovative mindset and stay grounded, amongst all this negative news?
Well, absolutely. And especially now if you even turn on the news, it's all negative. So I think some of those things are I guard my heart and my mind. All right. I value those incredibly. So I do not spend all day or even hours or even a full hour watching the news. I make sure that if I'm watching, I'm just going to tune in for a second to my local station to see what's happening locally, and then I tune it right back out. I think if you allow all of that to kind of infiltrate you, that it shifts the way that you're thinking. So that's just like one practical step. The other thing is that, again, in terms of guarding my heart and my mind, I shift my attention to things that are positive on purpose. And that's not easy to do. I'm gonna take a minute in a moment to actually show you a strategy that I use, but it is important to look at what is good in this world. And even if that means just stepping outside, breathing some air, and feeling the sun on my face, it lets me know that I'm part of a larger picture, part of a larger purpose. What I read, in this time is important to me. So I think those are the kinds of practical things that I do.
I love that. So, one of the things I'm hearing is the ability to be positive on purpose. So, at what point in your life did that mind shift take place? What was it that created that shift in you?
I think it's matured over time, right? So I think I've always been grounded in the church. I've always gone to church. And there are things that we learn about prayer and faith that help to keep that positive focus. But there are times when in life, this is real. Like right now, we struggle. We struggle with fear. We struggle with anxiety. I mean, I've gone through cancer and a breast cancer survivor, had to deal with chemo, radiation, and surgery and losing a breast. I mean, those are not easy times, right? And so to be able to shift in the moment, that's a skill that I think has to be learned. And so about a year or so ago, I went to a retreat for a program called Oasis in the Overwhelm. And I was burned out. I was taking care of my mom who was dying from Alzheimer's. She wanted to be at home, and that was my gift to her to take care of her at home. And so, but it was hard, Lachelle. I watched my mom change from this powerful, beautiful woman full of vibrancy and energy and shrink down to like be like a child. And at times she was combative, at times it was violent. There were times when she wouldn't eat, couldn't eat. It took all of me to be able to take care of my mom, and I literally felt like I didn't have anything left. At that moment is when I was introduced to Oasis in the Overwhelm. And I went to one retreat and learned 4 strategies that can shift you in the moment. And I really honestly thought, like, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if it's going to be some kind of foo-foo, kumbaya stuff that I'm not feeling at the moment. I'm tired. I'm worn out. How does this work? But when I came home, I taught one of the activities to my grandson, who immediately came into my house. He was ranting, angry, screaming at the top of his lungs. And I took one of those 60 seconds activities and I taught it to him. And he went from a 12 to a 0 in 60 seconds.
Wow.
I witnessed it live myself. And then I saw him teach his mom the same activity, and it had the same impact. If a 7-year-old can do it, I know we can do it.
Absolutely.
So,
That's awesome.
do you mind if I walk you through one?
Absolutely.
So this one, I'm just going to give you a quick version, and I'm just going to call this one Change the Channel. It's called the cue to do, because we pay attention to the cues that our body is sending us. So, Lachelle, if you're feeling kind of stressed or anxious in the moment, where do you feel it in your body?
Probably in my chest area, sometimes shoulders.
Shoulders, chest. Tell me what you feel.
Sometimes rapid heartbeat. Let me think. Just like pressure,
yes,
tightness.
Yeah. So your body is giving you cues. So what I want you to do is just put your hand out as if you're holding a remote in your hand, a remote control for the TV.
Okay.
All right, hold it in your hand, and I want you to go there. I want you to go to a situation that has made you feel stressed out or anxious in the moment, and I'm sure we don't have to go far back in our memories right now to know those feelings, right? I want you to put yourself.
Kids at home doing shelter in place.
Right, there you are, right? So you're right there. Hold that remote control in your hand, and now I want you to think to yourself, where do you want to be? Instead of where I am right now, where do I want to be? And I want you to just think about where that is for a moment. What does that look like? What does that feel like for you?
Just peaceful, light, relaxed.
Yeah. Now click the remote control. Click it.
Okay.
And go there. And just breathe for a second. Breathe it in. And let go of everything else.
That was good.
How does that feel, Lachelle?
That feels good.
All right. And just like that, we have the capacity to change our brains, to change our minds. And that was just a quick way to rinse off your brain, right? Reshuffle some things and get where you need to be. And then when you're in this space, that's when you can think more clearly. That's when you can make better decisions. That's when you're not going to, jump down somebody's throat because you're upset. You have a chance to just relax, be in peace, breathe, and then you can move on.
Okay, so knowing that we have to kind of build the muscle, so to speak, with this positivity, what routine should we create in order to do the daily work in building the muscle? What advice would you give us for that?
Just being mindful, right? So I think once you've done the activity and we've purposefully taken the time to look at what are our cues, how are we feeling, where does it show up? The next time that you feel that, you're going to remember, okay, this headache is related to something, or this tightening in my neck means something. My body's telling me something. And I think so it is a muscle that has to be, you have to use it over and over, just like regular muscles. If you don't use them, they atrophy. When you use them, they get stronger. And so the more you do the activity or the more you tune into yourself, right? It strengthens it. But there are also some practical things you can do too. So if you had that picture of that place of peace when I asked you where would you rather be, if you found, say, a picture online and it's a, I don't know, a beautiful beach somewhere with palm trees and the sea and the clouds, I change my phone screen or my lock screen to that picture. So when I pick up my phone, I'm instantly taken to that place, right? Those are the simple kinds of things that we can do that just kind of help to keep that muscle going. Trust me, when you see a remote control today, Lachelle,
Yeah, you'll be
you're going
thinking.
to be thinking.
Right. This has been a great interview. What are some books that you would recommend to the audience right now to read to kind of keep themselves motivated and in a spirit of hope as we move forward through this pandemic?
I'll tell you what I'm reading right now. I'm reading the Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson.
Oh, okay.
That I believe, I don't think it matters where you are in your life right now. If you could get your hands on that book, and I believe it's available, it's probably available online too, like to just read with the Kindle.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about reawakening the dreams that are inside of you. And I
Mm.
think, particularly now in a time of such kind of stress and crisis, being able to
Right.
connect to what was already in you, I think that's just so powerful. And it gives you kind of a vision for your future. Like, we're going to come out of this. We're definitely going to move out of this. How do I want to move forward? What do I want to leave in the world? What
Mm.
legacy am I leaving? You know, those kinds of thoughts or
Mm-hmm.
questions that come up when you read a book like that. So I would recommend, the one book I think I would recommend right now is The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson.
I really just want to thank you so much for this interview. This has just been so enlightening to be able to have your spin on how we can move forward in a positive way. And it has just been wonderful. So thanks so much again, Anne Marie, for your time. And I hope you, as the audience, has gleaned a lot from this information and that you were taking notes. So thank you all again for listening and have a great day.